Hello and welcome to the 5th annual crossover collaboration for May the 4th meets Live Long and Prosper. And I've been trying to actually do this introduction a few times. As you can see, I've already started drawing and I just kept messing it up and getting the words wrong. Oh, and my sister's now calling, but thankfully she will ring the home phone and then I can be okay and not feel bad for ignoring her call. But that is quite funny. It just seems like today so many things going wrong. And I'm really struggling to do this painting because I'm actually, the phone is right here. So it's right in front of me. And I haven't done any artwork for a while. I had a little, there we go. The phone is ringing. And I had to have a little bit of a rest. I had a bit of a mental exhaustion. And I literally stopped everything. So I'd forgotten where everything was. Didn't know how to set things up. And now I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing? And it's quite funny. But before I say any more random weirdness, thank you so much to Marie-Louise, who was before me in this collaboration. So there's a whole bunch of us doing this over 3 days. We are now on day 3. So if you haven't seen the other 2 days, do go back. All the links to everyone's videos and the whole collaboration are in the description below. So if you want to go back and look at those, do check those out. But thank you so much to Marie-Louise for introducing me and for her amazing video. And up next is Gert from Gert Creates. I actually came up with this idea several weeks ago and then everything just went horribly wrong. And you sort of have that thing where it's like, okay, yeah. Put a halt on everything. I took Instagram, Facebook and everything off my phone. So I had no distractions in the world, and it's been the best thing, and I need to figure out how to bring them back without being able to look at them and only using what's necessary, because I love posting things and I do like seeing things. So this is a cross between Matilda and Josephine, the Naughty Pumpkins, Star Trek, and I can't remember what the thing is that what is it I've called it? What have I called it? It had John Lithgow in it, and it was part of like a series of films in one film. So there were different stories in one film. I cannot remember what it was called, but I will in a minute, but I can describe it. So what it was he was on a plane, and he was flying somewhere. You can see how bad my brain is at the moment. It's like, yeah, he was flying somewhere. That's the end. So he was flying somewhere and there was a bit of disturbance on the plane, and then he looked out of the window. I can't remember it. I actually did watch it recently. But there was this strange creature on the plane and he was pulling bits off the wing. And when he looked, he sort of did this thing with his finger. My hand's too close, but he did this waving thing with his finger. And I just remember as a youngster thinking that was the coolest thing ever. It was just like this weird gremlin-looking creature. And so that's what I thought for this. I thought there they are on the Starship Enterprise ripping stuff off. And I just cannot remember what it's called. I actually think I might have written it down right in front. I have. Here we go. There it is. Twilight Zone. What I will do is cut to a time lapse. Yeah, okay, so I just want to tidy things up a little bit by just sort of putting a bit more detail in and hiding some bits like so. And I also want to mention Donna, because Donna every year puts this collaboration together, and I think I joined a number 2, I think. And I can't remember what I did. I know Mine have a habit of being them trying to fight off something. But anyway, so thank you so much, Donna, for involving me once again. And her channel is It's Art by Donna, and one of the most kind and sort of shining lights in this world. One of these people that I just think just goes above and beyond and just makes you feel incredibly special. And yeah, what else can I say? Yes, to put something like this together, it's just a huge feat, and making sure everything is right, getting everyone in their place. I always say that Donna has that really kind, nurturing hand, but at the same time a firm hand. So thank you, Donna, for getting me involved in this and just getting so many amazing people together as well. I'm trying to neaten this up and it just looks like I'm making it worse, but there we go. So something I have started doing, I used to do just gouache. I think I've done that completely wrong. That sort of sits on the back of this bit, so maybe that needs to come out a bit, but it doesn't matter, no one's going to notice, and I'm not going to tell them. But yes, if you look at the actual engineering, architecture, whatever you call it, for this ship, it doesn't quite look like that. Those bits sit on there and this comes out from underneath, but we won't tell anyone. So yeah, so I used to do gouache, and I used to do it very much more detailed than this. And I didn't used to use a pen, but I actually really love this style of painting. And it is just so much quicker as well. It just makes me feel like I can express myself and not feel like I'm taking forever to do it. And I just want to say, yeah, this doesn't have to be perfect. I want there to be like a chunk missing out of there. It's not going to be very good, because I've kind of not... It wasn't an afterthought, because I definitely did it in the original drawing. But sometimes when you're painting and stuff, you forget what you've actually done, and then before you know it, you've messed it up, or you've gone over something and realised that's actually missing. Yeah, so that's not quite central. But I think I do love this style of painting where it's not perfect. It's kind of squiggly. I can't remember who that artist is called, but there were book illustrations by this person. I think it was in Royal, I always get his name, Royal Dahl, but in his books they had that similar illustration where it's not perfect, and you've got the lovely pen lines. So that's what I'm doing. And I used to, as I say, use gouache, and I absolutely love gouache. But one of the reasons I don't anymore is because most of the tubes of paint that I have are actually rock hard, and they rattle when you take them out. So completely and utterly pointless. I mean, I don't know if there is a method for sort of reinstating them, or whatever the word is, but I'm okay with there not being. So I think that looks a little bit better. It sort of brought it out a little bit. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is put some highlights on everywhere. And then I want to put a few little sparks coming out of these. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we did have a choice of doing either Star Trek or Star Wars. And I chose Star Trek simply because I grew up with Star Trek, and I actually didn't really know much about Star Wars growing up. It wasn't something that I was particularly interested in. I was always a Star Trek person, watched it when we were growing up, and I just have these lovely memories of the door where it sort of does that that's a really bad impression, but it was like all these little things, these little sounds and lovely beeps and other things that you'd hear in it that just sort of remind me of my childhood. This little man has no legs. I think we might give him some legs in a minute. That looks like a ghost, so I can regurgitate this for Halloween. And also, I'm just looking at the camera, it's so much darker in real life. It's much more purple. The problem with my phone is it does bring up the blue, so I need to be a bit more professional and do it properly. But yeah, growing up, I just remember like the Beam Me Up Scotty and the noises of the door and the little boops and all of that stuff. And I was yabbering away just a minute ago, and I realised that it wasn't recording. So I did this amazing bit here. This is like the best video I've ever made, and no one will ever see it because I didn't make it. So I was doing all this bit over here. So this is supposed to be the spluttering engine. I'm not even sure what these bits are, but oh my gosh. Never mind. The thing I like about that Star Trek as well is it is set mostly on board. I mean, maybe that was just my recollection, and everyone's going to say, well, actually, no, it's mostly set outdoors, somewhere else. But my memory is that it was always mostly on the Starship Enterprise, and it was mostly the same sort of people, and I do like that. I love that familiarity, and I just really liked. I think the fact that I grew up with it, so it was something in that, and I didn't really grow up with Star Wars. It wasn't something that was really on my radar. I knew people that really love Star Wars, but I don't know. I think whenever it's come to anything to do with space, any kind of science fiction movie or anything like that, I like things that have a lot more technical stuff in that. And it's not necessarily the case with Star Wars, but I think I just prefer that sort of thing. And I think Star Trek as well seemed very, I don't know how to describe it. There's more sort of, I don't know, it's very strange. More, the ones that I sort of remember, it was all very sort of in the desert for some reason. Very, what is the word I'm looking for to describe it? It's not high tech and shiny. That's how I always thought about Star Trek, which I could be absolutely wrong. And everyone's going to say, well, it's got nothing. It doesn't sound like that at all. But whenever I remember it, I think that. And what I do prefer is that kind of shiny beeps and whistles and yeah, she's rambling on again. But yeah, so for this bit, I wanted to, I don't even know what these things are. So I'm just making the assumption, but I wanted this to be broken off. So it's very much like the film, which I'm going to immediately remember what it's called. I'm going to have to look at a sheet of paper. Twilight Zone. I absolutely love that particular bit. There are so many other Twilight Zones that I've seen, but that particular one was just the best because that little creature ripping off the bits of the wing and all the sparks coming off. There's just something really, really quite bizarre about it, and also the fact that they landed the plane and everything was fine. I mean, why is that? Why didn't the plane crash? Maybe it did. Maybe again I'm thinking differently. So what I'm going to talk about now is doing the highlights. It's my favourite bit. I do love doing these collaborations, but I have to say that I am such a bad person at leaving stuff to the last minute, and I'm really working on it, and I'm looking at why it is. But sometimes it's actually, I need to move that over, don't I? There we go. Sometimes it's actually nice because I can then sort of, I'm forced to go off into my own little world and think, oh, okay, I've got to do this now. And I think that's when my creativity is most abundant, because it's like suddenly I've got to produce something and my mind switches to that place. And here it is. And I need to actually give them hands and I need to give them a wand. What I want to do as well is give those engine sparks a bit of yellow, because they're not, oh, that's not very nice yellow. Because they're not really actually going to be white. And one of the great things about putting white gouache on is it's easier to then put the colour on top. But I don't know. I really wanted it to be very orange. I don't know. Would it be yellow? Would it even be a completely different colour? Would you have blue coming out of there? Would you have like, I don't know. Perhaps if I put a bit of orange on top of that in a minute. I do love, as I say, being part of these collaborations because it gives me a reason to do some art. And I really did push myself earlier in the year, and I was going to do a Matilda and Josephine every week. And I did actually paint Matilda and Josephine a week or two ago. I was doing some little personal development ones, but I didn't film them, so they're not on here. But technically I did do one. And if you count this one as being the last Sunday's one, because I'm actually doing it last Sunday. That's a bit weird to say that in my brain. But it is actually, what is the date today? Sunday the something. 27th is Sunday the 27th, because it's got to be finished today, so we know that. I'm also trying to eke this out a little bit, because I did say, yeah, I'm going to do 19 minutes, so what can I talk about? I don't even know how much time I've done. I think as well, yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit of orange on the bits over here. I think one of the best things you can do in life is become creative. Get some kind of creative there. Get something to empty your mind of all the junk that's in it. And I actually recently read the most incredible book. A very good friend recommended it to me, and I read it. In fact, I'm reading 2 books that you recommended, and one of them is The Greatest Showman in the World, and it's such a good book. It's by Ogmendino, and it's sort of I wouldn't say it's got, I don't know what I'd say it is, but it's just very thought-provoking, and it's such a lovely kind of book to read. And yeah, I would thoroughly recommend it. And the other one is The Alchemist by Paulo something or other, Coelho, Coelho, and they're just such amazing books and such sort of peaceful books to read. And I think they've really, really helped me sort of get my mind a little bit more where it needs to be. And one of them is about sort of finding your calling, I think, in life and your purpose. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I'm sort of like, I think maybe it's like, I've made a little hole in the side, so we're getting a bit of, does that even look like, maybe I need to put some yellow in there as well. So you've got a bit of fire. I'm not sure. I mean, Matilda and Josephine oh wow, that's a bit, isn't it? That's a bit much. But maybe Matilda and Josephine can fix it afterwards, but it doesn't look like they're actually doing much to prevent what's happening. So, but yeah, those 2 books are incredible books to read, and I just think, if you want something that's gonna, like, very, very short reads, very what's the word? I don't know, spiritual's the right word, whatever the word is, but I just think they really have sort of changed my mind about things, and sort of had quite a, that really annoys me when that happens, quite a profound effect. And because they're quite short books, they are so nice to sort of read in one sitting. But anyway, there you go. So if you're interested in a nice little read like that, that's my recommendation. It's got nothing to do, well, has it got anything to do with Star Trek? I don't know. Maybe it's like a Star Trek, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that is my rambling. I actually am quite happy with this. I sort of feel like it's kind of done. I'm not too impressed with my pumpkins, but and I still think that looks like a ghost. I think as well, I don't know what I think. I can't think anymore. Right. What I'm going to say is thank you so much for watching. Gert from Gert Creates is up next, so do hang around to watch that. The link is in the description. It is in the everywhere. It's in the chat if you're watching in the chat. And yeah, just thank you so much for being here, and please continue on with the collaboration. And if you are here way after we've done this live, just go back, look at all the collaboration people, and I'm rambling and making stuff up again. So anyway, so have an awesome weekend, week, day, whatever it is, and I will see you soon.